Peanut allergies are a modern phenomenon. If you look back through the medical journals and literature from the past centuries, you can't find references to peanut allergies. It wasn't until the 1990s when it was first being seriously discussed in the medical journals, and in the mid-90s when newspapers first started publishing major articles to inform the public. But each decade since then, the portion of the population allergic to peanuts has been steadily growing. There have been numerous studies published in the medical journals which show that the rates of peanut allergies of US children skyrocketed by around 300% in the decade crossing this last millennium, which matched with the rates seen in other Western countries as well, including the UK, Canada and Australia. Within the last decade, the peanut allergy rates in US school children have continued to rise at a similar level, about 300% again, with a recent study from last year, 2014, published in the Journal of Allergy and Clinical Immunology, showed that 5% of children are now allergic to peanuts. So the situation is now so bad that peanut allergies are all of a sudden the #1 cause of death from food reactions. We've banned peanuts from schools throughout the Western world, and a large portion of children have to carry life-saving devices such as the EpiPen with them at all times. And how bad does it have to get before serious action is taken? I mean, if basically nobody had a peanut allergy 100 years ago, and now 5% of the population in the modern world suffers from this condition, isn't it time somebody found out the cause? Well, it turns out they have. The problem is in the vaccines. Shh, the government doesn't want you to know about this. One of the components of the vaccine is an adjuvant, which is a substance added to the vaccine in order to enhance the body's immune response. Although the reasoning is flawed and it's been debunked, the vaccine manufacturers believe that if they stir up the immune system and kick it into action to protect the body against something else, then it will have more of an effect against the disease they're trying to vaccinate against. So, apart from the actual vaccine, they deliberately inject you with something known to be harmful to the body because they think that will make the vaccine work better. And the more harmful the substance is, the more the immune system reacts and the more powerful the vaccine will be, so they believe. Many different substances have been used as adjuvants over the last 100 years, and the scientists have been constantly on the lookout for more dangerous substances which produce extreme immune reactions in the human body. Till one day, they stumbled across a substance that delivered the kind of deadly reaction they were looking for: peanuts. Peanuts were first used as an adjuvant in vaccines in the mid-1960s. And we know this because a start admission was made in the New York Times on the 18th of September 1964, where the author described how a newly patented ingredient, including peanut oil, was being added to the flu vaccine as an adjuvant in order to enhance the vaccine's strength. Peanut oil became the model for subsequent vaccines, and by the mid-1980s it had become the preferred adjuvant for the manufacturers. Today, peanut oil is a common trade secret ingredient used in vaccine adjuvants. They claim it as a trade secret so their competitors won't steal their vaccine formulas. But in reality, they do it so they don't have to list it as an ingredient, in the hope that the unaware public won't realise it is the cause. In fact, only about 40% of the ingredients are ever listed on the vaccine packaging, as the laws just don't enforce it. We know it's being used because it's sometimes mentioned in the medical journals, when they publish studies on vaccines and they get access to a more complete list of ingredients. Peanut oil is not used exclusively. Different manufacturers, different vaccines, different batches destined for different countries. They all use different oils as adjuvants. Common ones are the oils from other nuts, sesame seeds, soybeans and seafood, which, surprise, surprise, we also see increasing rates of allergies to most of these. By 6 months of age, children may be exposed to up to 16 different mixes of oils in the vaccines. But it's not just the adjuvant that uses peanuts and other oils, they're also used in the culture medium. And since they are generally not added as a primary ingredient in either the culture medium or the adjuvant, the amount of oil contained in one single vaccine can vary widely from batch to batch, or even dose to dose, which is why not all children develop peanut allergies. It's like a Russian roulette. And if your child lives in the West and you vaccinate them, they have about a 5% chance of being vaccinated with a life-threatening peanut allergy. Now you might notice that I keep mentioning the West and Western countries. The reason for that is I can't mention most of the rest of the world, because the problem just doesn't exist there. In areas where they either refuse vaccinations, and rightly so, or where the uptake of vaccines is very low, the rates of peanut allergies are either low or non-existent. And we see the exact opposite in the West, where the increase in the numbers of vaccines in the childhood vaccination schedules run parallel with the increases in the cases of peanut allergies. So whether this is because the other countries are using different oils as adjuvants, or they're avoiding getting vaccinated altogether, it doesn't really matter. The point is, they're not suffering from peanut allergies because they're not injecting peanut oil straight into their bodies. Humans are unable to handle intact proteins being injected straight into the body, and it causes a chain reaction of antibodies, histamines, inflammation, and finally a sensitivity which can be potentially fatal. The knowledge that vaccines are causing the peanut allergy epidemic has been around for a while, and in that time we've heard some crazy excuses. One of them is that American children are now eating more peanuts, which must be right because I often see toddlers walking into a bar, grabbing a beer and eating peanuts at the counters. The fact is that Americans have been eating peanuts in fairly big quantities for over 200 years now, but they never used to be allergic to them in the past. In fact, a study published in PubMed, which acknowledges that the advice to eat less peanuts hasn't stopped the rates increasing, they compared the peanut allergy prevalence in the UK, which was 1.85%, against Israel, which is 0.17%. And they compared that against the amount of peanuts that the children ate. Now it turns out that Israeli children are eating massive quantities of peanuts, and the British children eat basically none. So the eating peanuts theory was blown out of the water by not only this study, but by all existing scientific literature, which has concluded that you cannot develop a peanut allergy from eating peanuts. And what the study didn't mention, however, is that the vaccines produced for Israeli children predominantly use sesame seed oil instead of peanut oil as an adjuvant, which is why the allergy instances are far lower in Israel. The pharmaceutical industry also tried to deny that they're responsible when adjuvant pioneer Maurice Hilleman claimed that all of the proteins in the peanut oil were removed through refining. Funnily enough, it was the corrupt FDA who told him no, he was lying. No matter how much you refine peanut oil adjuvants, there will always be intact proteins. In fact, this is the reason why they started advising doctors to inject the vaccines into the muscles rather than into the veins, since it somewhat reduced the violent reactions. So if they know the peanut oil causes violent reactions and causes lifelong peanut allergies in millions upon millions of people, why are they using it instead of a safer adjuvant? Now let's get it straight. All the adjuvants can cause problems, because it's not just peanuts that the Western world have been seeing skyrocketing allergic reactions to. But yes, there are safer adjuvants, so why not use the best one? The simple answer is money. Vaccines are a multi-billion-dollar industry, and so are its spin-off, the allergy treatment industry. In fact, in the next few years, it's projected to pass the $50 billion per year mark. Now, imagine this. You own a big company selling vaccines, and you discover a substance which you can add to your vaccines to cause a lifelong allergy in your customers. This gives you an opportunity to sell them protection products for their allergy, including antihistamines, epinephrine injectors, peanut patches, for the rest of their lives. Financially, it's a no-brainer. The amount of profit on a single sale of a vaccine is minuscule when compared to the profits you'll get for selling products to a customer for the remainder of their lifetimes. These big CEOs of the pharmaceutical companies don't care about you. They don't care if you die or you get injured. After all, that's why they set up the vaccine courts, so the public can't sue them when they're injured by their vaccines. These sickos only care about money, and when their vaccines give children peanut allergies, they don't get sad. They jump for joy, because they've just created another lifelong customer who will pay them thousands of dollars just to stay alive. Now, I'm expecting comments under this video to get bombarded with lies and fake science from trolls paid by these pharmaceutical companies. After all, if you're making billions of dollars per year on this scam, you want to protect your profits. So my advice to you is to do your own research, and please use your brains. We know that historically there were no peanut allergies, and we know that the rates in the Western countries are now passing the 5% rate for the population. It didn't happen by magic. The science tells us that the vaccines are the cause. So don't let them keep sweeping this under the carpet to save their billion-dollar allergy protection industry. Save a child's life instead.